Hello and welcome back, friends. If you're new around here, I am Big Gator. If you came looking for the sharpest tennis bets, you are right where you belong. Right now, we are covering ATP Almaty, Brussels, and Stockholm all at the same time. Still the first round, so get involved in the comments below. Please, let me see what you're playing. Keep your eyes peeled for my pin comment as well, okay? Make sure you see what I'm playing as well. If you do like the breakdowns of these matches, please give this video a like. It goes a super long way. I appreciate it if you do. And if you want to get my picks as soon as I upload and want to go straight to the pin comment, you can just subscribe. We just hit over 600 subscribers. I appreciate everybody. Let's get to 700. We're building so fast. I appreciate everybody. If you also feel generous for any of the wins you get on the channel, there's a link in my pinned comment for a donation if you'd like to just do that. It's just there if you'd like to, and as well as a link to my free Discord. Join us. We got more picks for you if you'd like, okay? And with that being said, what we looking like for today? Looks like Fabian Marjan is our guy right now, because out of everybody else that we took today, did not do us too well. We took Offner to win in straights. He lost in straights to the rank 606 Borg, so boost in rank from him instantly. He's like now in the top 500, so good for him. I'm sure that puts him in the top 500. We took Ugo Blanchet. He lost in straights as well. Very surprising stuff, honestly. I mean, Duckworth came to play. It is what it is. It's first round. Can't be too mad at it. I played lightly. I hope you did too. That's the advice I give every first round. But it is what it is, okay? We move on. And we're going to jump right back into Almaty, getting back into the full stroke of round one. And our first match is actually going to be Tristan Schoolkate going against Adam Walton, all right? And these guys, crazy enough, have played each other 7 times already. But we should have expected this. Mostly, not even mostly, all on the hard courts too. These are 2 Australian boys, 2 years apart. So they have some history. They go, but not history as much as we would have expected. They go back only 2 years, but they've played each other 7 times. Kind of says that their circumstances have been very similar to be in the same places. A lot of them have been challengers. They've met in finals and semifinals of a bunch of challengers together. But as of recently, it's 4-3 Schoolkate. He won the first time they played in 2023 on the indoor hard court, which is where they're playing again. And he's also won the past 3 times they've played. Straight sets in Miami and qualies. Quarterfinals in Brisbane. Challenger. And a 3-setter. With a 3-set tiebreak set. At Schoolkate in the final of the Guangzhou Challenger last year. 3 sets as well. I feel like he may have had Walton's game figured out a bit. Unless Walton's figured out something else new in the past 6-7 months. I would take Schoolkate for a set here. I would. I'd keep it at that. Just looking at their records on the hard courts indoors. We haven't had a good season from Schoolkate since 11-5 season in 2021, which was ITF most likely. More than likely. Most likely is an understatement. But he's got a high percentage win. Then we have Walton, who's 4-3 last year and 3-3 the year before with a 41% win rate. I think it's better to look at their hard court percentages, honestly, for this, because so it's so low, the sample size, the indoors. Schoolkate is 33-25 with a 57%. And then we have Walton, who's 32-23 this season with a 65%. So definitely on paper, but going 35-30 this season across all services is a little but it's at the ATP level, so we get it. You've been the guy that has to get beaten, and it sucks because you're good. Adam Walton is good, and Tristan Schoolkate is also up and coming, and he's good as well. I mean, he's 42-31, so I think he's got the guts and the gall and all we need to get us a set at the very least. Okay, so with that, we'll move on. And our next match is going to be Alex Vukic going against Mr. Marco ToPo. And this is going to be their first head-to-head. ToPo's ranked 277 going against the 84 Vukic. So that's probably why it's going to be the first head-to-head. Vukic hasn't been having the best season, going 15-20 on the regular hard court. He's 1-1 on the indoor courts. His best performances on a tennis court are in indoor hard courts. He has a 60% win rate there. When the weather's not involved, when there's no weather involved, he does pretty well. So then we have ToPo, who is 7-1 on the hard courts this year and 2-1 on the indoor, with a 9-15 record. But it looks like he had an 0-5 season in 2023, and he's gotten better since then. Safe to say. I don't want to knock the fact that he's got a 37% win rate. It's not enough of a sample size for that to really matter. He's still growing that number. So, he is 39-18 this season, though. 21 wins over your losses is definitely something to notice, but it's all on clay. So, do with that as you will. He does play well on the hard court. As I said, 7-1. So, I think Vukic is still going to be the one that gets it done here, believe it or not. I know he's kind of a sus player for a lot of people. When you look at how he's been playing recently, lost to Borges, who ended up playing really well. So I don't really put that past him, honestly. Lost to Nishioka, though, and the qualities. He's a lefty, though, so maybe that's what it was. And then he lost against Ruud in the quarterfinals, beat Altmaier, Jumhor, Sakamoto, Kovacevic. So played well, and that's through qualities. So just want to say, like, that says something. And then, yeah, let's just leave it at that. If you want to take Vukic, I think he's the biggest. He is. I'm looking at the slate right now. He's the biggest favorite on the slate for Almaty as far as the match is happening tomorrow. So you can take it if you want to. That's where Offner was yesterday, though, or today, or last night for me. So take it if you want to. I'm gonna leave it alone because I don't trust Vukic as well as I trust him as much as I trust Offner, and I took a risk with him because it was first round, and boy was I wrong. So I will leave this match alone, honestly, and move on. And our next match is going to be Nicholas Jarry going against Mr. Timothy Skatov, or Skatov. Mind you, this is in Almaty, so it's taking place in Kazakhstan. So we do have a local here, or this is his home court for Skatov. This is going to be their second head-to-head. They played back in 2023 in Melbourne in qualies, second round for the Australian Open. And Nicholas Jarry won in 3 sets. But the first 2 sets were quite close. So just looking at both of these guys, they just, wow. I don't even know if it's worth going into their personal records at the moment. They're both on 5 to 6 match losing streaks. One with Skatov having a retirement. So not having the best seasons, but Skatov has been having a positive season, but it's all been on clay. So I don't know if this is even worth touching. He doesn't have much experience on the indoor hard courts. Neither does Nicholas Jarry. We'll see what happens. I think Nicholas Jarry ends up winning, but that's just because of rank at that point. But Kazakhstan does produce some interesting players, as we know Bublik is representing, but not from here. But Shevchenko is actually, I believe, from Kazakhstan. So we'll see what we get here. Maybe play Nicholas Jarry for DraftKings. All right. And next we have Brandon Nakashima going against Ahmad Medjedovic. And this is going to be good. Last time they played was on an indoor hard court, and guess who won? Medjedovic. I've been telling you guys, I don't know, something about the recent form of Nakashima just has me a little bit like, what's going on with him? He's not He's not looking like how. But I'm not going to say that too soon. Around this time last year, he was playing like a beast. So this may be the time, the indoor hard courts, where we get him back again. You know he has that record. I remember that he had a great record. So before we get into it, it was a 3-setter back in 2024, actually, last year in Belgrade. And Medjedovic lost the first set and came back and won the second two. So he did just retire his match to Rinderknecht back in Shanghai, which is crazy because he won the first set. And I thought that was quite interesting because imagine if he would have won. History would be so much different right now. Right? And then we have Brandon Nakashima, who got completely annihilated by Majchrzak in the second round, going 4-6, 0-6. The bagel to end it is insane work. And then losing to Carlos in Tokyo right before that in the quarterfinals in Tokyo. So he did get to the quarterfinals, but he only had to play 2 matches to get there, and it was Jordan Thompson and Martin Vukic, which we expected him to be able to do that. So then we have Holger Rune, Altmaier. So Medjedovic hasn't actually won a match in some time. He was about to win the one in the Davis Cup, but the other person retired. But he retired in the Rinderknecht match, and he lost against Holger Rune in Tokyo. First round of the U.S. Open, Altmaier did him in, remember that? And then the quarterfinals of Winston-Salem. So a 4-match losing streak for real is what's going on for him. I'd probably leave him alone for this match. And then we're looking at the hard court records from last year. 15-8 for Nakashima. This year, for Medjedovic, 13-3. In Marseille, he was going crazy. Made it to the final, but lost to Ugo. But ended up winning in Oreas Challenger at the beginning of the year. So it's been some time. I'd stay away from this match. I'm staying away from this match is what I'll say. And then last in Almaty, we have Laszlo Djere going against Alexander Shevchenko. Mr. Home Court Advantage himself, Chevy. What is Chevy going to do to us against Laszlo? What is Chevy going to do against Laszlo, who's 1-4 this season on the hard courts and 2-1 on the indoor hard courts, but still has an under 48% win rate on the hard court or indoor hard courts? Then we have Shevchenko, who got over a 50% win rate on both, who's 11-12 on the hard court, but he is 1-1 this season on the indoor, and he went 7-7 last year and 10-5 the season before in 2023. Only played about 50, 60 matches or so, but this will be their first head-to-head. And Laszlo, what's been going on with him? His last win was back in June. What do you want me to say? That's it. Then we have Shevchenko, who went to, what was this? Chengdu, right? And he made it to the semis until he got against Musetti. So I like Shevchenko going against Djere. Maybe take him for a set, but I like Shevchenko, bro. He's a slight favorite at minus 136. For him to get a set is minus 380. I think you're putting a lot of weight on him to take him to win this, honestly. He is a clay player, Shevchenko. He plays predominantly better on the clay. Same with Laszlo, but out of the two, I would definitely lean more on Shevchenko, but I don't know if I feel fully comfortable taking him to win the game, or the match, I'm sorry, outright. But I do like him for a set. So there is that. And our next tournament we're going to pop into, being as though we've just cleared all through And I mean all through Almaty. Now we're going to go into Brussels. Take a step down into Belgium, just real quick. And our first match that we're going to be touching on here is going to be Elliot Spizzirri going against Pedro Martinez. And this will be their first head-to-head. But if you guys do know, when I was covering the challengers back in the day, Spizzirri is like that. Believe that. Spizzirri is like that. So, and he's been trending upward. Martinez has been trending downward. He just came off winning the Gingjian Challenger, beating Hoffman, Lloyd, who retired after the first set, losing the first set. Serpchina in 3 sets, and Alex Bolt in the final, which is what. But yeah, got that dub. Made it to Shanghai. Didn't qualify in though, but he's qualified into Brussels, and he's playing really well. He beat Alexander Blocks in straight sets. That was not something I was actually going to see happening. I thought it was going to go to a 3-setter, but that's why qualities is something I don't touch or cover on this channel because of things like that. And first round is the only reason why I cover it is because it's an official round. You know, it's televised. So outside of that, I really wouldn't cover first round either because it's too crazy. But Martinez has only won 1 match, and that was against Holger Rune in the Davis Cup back in mid-September. Outside of that win, he's on a 6-match losing streak since Winston-Salem before the U.S. Open. So, I would tell you with pretty high confidence, Elliot Spizzirri will be able to win a set, if not take the entire match. He is a favorite at minus 270, so I do understand that. I might be rocking with my American here. I know he's ranked 111. Martinez is ranked 89. I think that he gets it done here. And then looking at their hardcourt records indoors so far, he's 6-1 with a 64% win rate, Mr. Spizzirri. But a 3-1 record for Martinez as well, which was seen when earlier this year back in Rotterdam. Made it to the quarterfinals, like I remember. Lost to Carlos, but he beat Holger indoors. And Batista Agu. Like, what? So, if he can do that, he definitely could produce some magic against Spizzirri. He's plus 220 underdog. Plus 220 underdog. Him to get a set is minus 132. Spizzirri to win 2-1. Or it to just go to 3 sets, honestly. What would that be? What's that worth for the people? Plus 144. It's pretty high up there. I'm mad at that. I feel like they could both produce a set off each other. With the Martinez level, because he's played against really fucking good people. Spizzirri's still at that challenger level, unfortunately. So, that's where my head's at with that. He did make it to the second round in the U.S. Open, though. So, our next match we're going to go into is going to be Daniel Altmaier going against a new name. I think it's Gilles Arnaud Bailey. And then we have Altmaier, who has actually played this guy before on the indoor hard courts in Antwerp just last year in the first round. Crazy enough, they're going to be doing this again. And Belgium again. Beating this dude in the first round in his home country must hurt. If he does it 2 years in a row, I'd be pissed. He's got to find a way around it. He beat Valentin Royer in qualies. And straight sets. That makes me think the boy is dangerous as fuck. Okay? You know how I feel about the recent performances we've seen from Valentin Royer. Even though Royer didn't get too far. And what was that? Was it Chengdu? One of them in China. One of those ones in China. He played well in China. So, looks like he's not playing all too hot over here, back in Belgium. Or maybe not. We'll see. Maybe he just had an off game. But he lost in 2 straight tie breaks, so it was close as fuck. As close as it can get. Anyway, Altmaier lost to Leon Sinner in Shanghai in the second round before he recently dropped out, right? To Greek Spore. And then we have him beating Schoolkate in the first round in straights. But as far as who Bailey is beating, we don't really... It's not much of a level to compare it to. He's been coming from doing M25s, ITF level at best. ITF level at best, but he came out and beat Royer. So what does that mean? To me, Altmaier, if Altmaier's involved right now, he's not an iffy player to me, but I don't like touching the matches he's involved in. He's not iffy. I just don't want to be involved in whatever happens in it. I just can't call it with him just yet, So, I'm going to leave this alone, but I will give you the facts. He's 5-4 on the indoor course this year. Bailey is 2-0. He went 2-1 last season. But, as I said about Altmaier, he's 5-4 this season. He went 5-4 last season as well. Has a 54% win rate. Bailey has a 38. So... You can kind of deduce what you want to from that. And I'll carry on. I will carry on. Next, we have Valentin Royer going against Sebastian Baez. Now, something tells me this is going to be a really interesting match. If Baez can return these serves, he may be in really good shape. Because he kept it close with Holger Rune. He did. So... I'm just interested to see what happens here. Royer didn't do too well he wasn't playing badly. He just ran into Zverev, which is like a top 3 player in the world. So, yeah, you're going to probably not win. No one's going to knock you for losing against Zverev, even though Zverev is in this weird place where he's beatable right now, but just not by you, I guess. It happens. Royer, as we know, he has a great serve. He beat Tien Mutet, Rublev, Kovacevic, Spizzirri. Couldn't beat Bublik, but he got damn close, bro. Lost in straight tie breaks. Y'all know how I feel about the boy. If he can get that close to beating Bublik, you better be able to beat Baez. You better be able to beat Baez with that serve. You're going to need more than that, though. A serve is not going to beat Baez. He moves all over the court way too much. Boy got dumb movement. He's small. Not small. I take that back. He's not small. He's a short guy, but I'm not going to say he's small. That's crazy. He's got a 16-8 record on the hard court, Royer. With a 6-4 record on the indoor. And Baez hasn't won a match, hasn't won more than 2 matches since 2021. Okay. On the indoor hard courts. He has a 3-19 record on indoor hard courts. But he's been surprising us in some matches, but you should definitely take Valentin Royer here. Okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. We're not going to be on that too long. And then next we have, forgive me, we have Emil Ruusuvuori going against Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard. And this is their 3rd time seeing each other. They played each other last year twice. Once in Wimbledon in the 3rd round. And then in DC, in straight sets, he beat him last year. As well as I said before. Beat him in straight sets. 2 tie breaks, though. It was very close. So far, he has gotten decently far in some tournaments. This Emil Ruusuvuori. We'll just call him Ruusu for short. He went against Stricker, blocks, and lost to Kipson, all in 3 sets. And Mevelion challenger. Moulion. Mouleron. I don't speak French. I'm sorry. Anyway. Holger Rune was the last match that Gio had. He lost in 3 sets, winning in a tiebreak. You know, he gets down. There's always a tiebreak usually involved with him. So, when it comes to a match like this, could we expect something like that? Maybe. Maybe we can get a tiebreak from Gio, but I think he's going to probably end up winning once again on this new surface. They played on the hard courts before, but, you know, Gio plays fucking well on the indoor hard courts. At least last season, he was, 13-7, so that's not a bad record. This guy's 6-6 this year, Ruusu. Going 4-2 last season. He's got a 67% win rate, which is 20% higher than Gio's. He's played a fuck ton of matches indoors. He's ranked 608, but we remember him from a few years back, and not when this channel was active. But he was in the top 50. So the Finnish player is maybe trying to make his way back into things. We'll see. He did have a recent retirement back earlier this year in an ITF match, so hopefully he's in good shape. Hopefully we see a improvement from him, but I would probably go with Gio to win here, and if he does win, I would keep an eye out for him for the rest of the tournament. All right, and our next match we're going to go into is going to be Francisco Comesana going against David Goffin, and this is going to be a good one. I think Goffin's the wild card here. This is going to be their first head-to-head. Goffin is 0-2 on the indoor hard courts this year, but he was 9-7 last season. Comesana is 0-1, which will put his career record at 0-2. So he hasn't played many matches, but he has been playing a decent amount on the hard courts this year. So maybe this transfers well. I think Goffin is going to win. And I haven't said something like that in a while, but the way Goffin has been looking freakishly good. He beat Ben in such a way that I'm just like, holy shit. Does Comesana stand a chance? Because Comesana lost to Ben, right? No. Lost to Rublev. Didn't get the Ben just yet. But he lost to Bellucci, which is irrelevant here. I'm just talking about lefties because I like lefties. Sorry. Anyway. Goffin, you don't know what you're going to get with this guy. I wouldn't touch the match for real, but I do think Goffin's going to win. That's what I think. So, I'm not going to hold you guys on that too much longer. Move on from that as well. And then next we have Zizou Bergs going against Rafael Collignon. Oh, yeah. And this is going to be their first head-to-head. Collignon is 16-5 so far this season on the indoor hard courts. I would assume a lot of that would probably be a challenger level. Yeah, he's made it to the semis and the finals, and most of the challengers he's played on the indoor hard courts recently, which I can't really say recently because it was back in March and April, but you get what I'm saying. He plays well on the indoor hard courts. He's got a 62% win rate. Zizou also has a 62% win rate. It's 62.75. Collignon's 62.07. So goes a little bit in Zizou's way. Zizou hasn't been playing terribly either. He lost against Djokovic, but damn. I'm so sad he couldn't get a set. It's all right. Zizou's still good money with me. He didn't really hurt me too bad. I think he's still in good shape to get it done on the hard court. Collignon shouldn't give him that crazy of a run. But I won't touch the match. I don't feel comfortable betting on Zizou in the first round after seeing what Offner did. So I will leave this match alone as well. But I do think that Zizou should be the one to win, as a favorite is slated to. And our next match is going to be last match of the first round. It's going to be, am I bullshitting? Yeah, no. There's a few more matches, but not today. We have João Fonseca going against Botic van de Zandschulp. And this is going to be their second head-to-head. They played the Davis Cup earlier last year, and Fonseca beat him in straight, 6-4, 7-6. Very impressive. This is going to be the same environment, less hype for both of them. So when the hype is not around, I'm really curious to know if he plays a bit better. Playing in a place at a 250 like this, where the level is a little bit lower as well. It's not a Masters, it's not a Grand Slam. He can just kind of just like play some like hard tennis and like, you know, have a decent crowd around him, but nothing too crazy. Like, I think that's good for this young budding star. He's 22-6 this season. Still, with a crazy hard court record. He's 1-1, but he went 13-5 last season. 70% win rate. Very low though. 14-6 is a career record on the surface. So, then we have Botic, who's 0-4 on the indoor courts this season, probably way earlier, in this Davis Cup loss against Cerundolo recently. And he went 7-8 last season. So, 62% win rate, way bigger sample size. I still think that we can still get a win from Fonseca. Oh my gosh, they finally are pricing this kid where he needs to be priced. Minus 198. I will take the risk there with him. I will take the risk with him there. I think Botic actually might get it done though. He got really close to beating Altmaier. He got really close to beating Borges, who played decently well in all of Shanghai. So, the fact that he can get really close to people like that, and he's lost to this kid before, I think he might have learned a thing or two. But when he learns a thing or two, these younger kids learn a thing or two as well. So, we'll see if Botic is going to be able to catch up with this kid's evolution. I think Fonseca might be able to get it done, though. Just dropped from 198 to minus 210. I don't like it anymore. All right, next we have just 5 more matches, but they're going to be interesting ones that are going to be taking place in Sweden. So we're going to pop over to Stockholm and talk about our first match, which is going to be Mark Lajal going against Tomas Etcheverry. Mistake. And this will be their first head-to-head, but Mark Lajal, that's buddy with the dreads, with the blonde dreads, the Estonian with the blonde dreads. He be doing some shit on the court. And on indoor courts, he be beasting. He's 10-3 so far this season. He's got a 61% win rate. Etcheverry's got a 57% win rate, going 2-1 this season, but he went 5-4 the season before. All right. Lajal went 15-10 last season. He's a challenger level player, but he beat Ethan Quinn in qualies. So he beat Ray Sakamoto in straights and qualies. I think he's here to play. I think he's good for a set against Etcheverry. Do we think? Let's see. He's the favorite. Wow. Mark Lajal is the favorite. That is something. Y'all got Etcheverry fucked up. You got Tomas Etcheverry fucked up. Plus 110. I don't know, man. That's a volatile one for first round. He may fuck around and get that dub. You playing with Etcheverry, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't have any weigh in on this match. That's all I'm gonna say though. You're playing with Etcheverry. Next match we have is going to be Nikolai Budkov Kjaer going against Martin Cilic. Now this is going to be their first head-to-head, being as though they're half. Well, this is a Kjaer, but Kjaer. I don't know. I mean, I'm butchering the name, but Budkov, Nikolai, whatever. Let's call him Nico for right now. Nico is 19 years old. He's half of Cilic's age, so let's see what the young Norwegian has gotten going on for him recently. He just won in France in a challenger, in an indoor hardcourt challenger. Seemingly in great form, bageling somebody in a final, which was Patrick Kipson, who was a decently good player. And then you get to the quarterfinals in the Roland Challenger in France as well, and you lose in 3 sets. But you haven't played a match where you have dropped a set or like haven't gotten a set since the 26th of September. I like this guy getting a set. I'm sorry. Cilic doesn't play too often on the indoor hard courts, and he hasn't been playing too well, but he doesn't play badly. He's just older. So it's even money for these guys to play each other and win. Minus 108 for Kjaer, or Budkov Kjaer, and then Cilic is minus 112. I would take the kid for a set. Minus 280, not a bad price. All right, next we have an interesting match as well. We have Kamil Majchrzak going against Filip Misolic. And this is going to be their first head-to-head. We have Majchrzak, who is 2-2 this season on the indoor hard courts with a 53.9% win rate, going against Misolic with a 54% win rate, going 5-4 this season, but 0-2 the season before. Misolic has been having a great clay season, but as far as the hard courts, Majchrzak's been doing that. So we've been getting some good money off Kamil. He's been doing us pretty well. He's a dirty favorite at minus 310. That's ridiculous. Parlay piece, I guess, but that's just a little bit too steep. That's crazy for first round. Jesus. Anyway, let's just move on. Next we have is the Ymer brothers. Elias going against Michael. This is going to be great. This is going to be prime time. The two black Swedes playing first round against each other. I wish they would have. Actually, I guess them playing each other would probably be. This is the only way to do so. Because if they would have played in the first round, either one of them probably could have lost and like not seen each other in the next part of the bracket. So glad we get to see it now, I guess. They got Michael being the favorite. It's kind of funny. I'll be watching this at work. Man, that'd be crazy. So their head-to-head history is Elias actually has always beaten them. It's been over 10 years since they've professionally played each other, but I'm sure they have been playing each other recently because they're brothers and they're both pretty inactive. Ymer was someone who renounced his retirement but came back, and now he's coming back to play here. So who better to play to get you back into it than your brother? Maybe there's some narrative there. I don't know. But I would think that Ymer would win. Just off some... You know? My brother hasn't played in a while. I play consistently. I got a bit of an income from this. Maybe I'm not getting a big return, but if I do play domestically, I could. And my brother is probably staying domestic right now. He hasn't been going too many places. He's probably just been staying in Sweden. He's playing locally here, so we'll see. All the tournaments that took place. Let's see. He's been going around a few places, actually. He's been a bit active. He hasn't played since August. So I would assume that, and it hasn't been on a hard court yet either, which I don't know why Elias isn't the favorite, but I think it's because maybe the match is going to be given to. Oh, he's on a 7-match losing streak. That's why. 8-match. I'm sorry. So these brothers, maybe we can get a 3-setter. I don't know. It's going to be more entertaining than like good to bet on. But seeing two black dudes from Sweden play each other in Sweden is just something that my black eyes would just love to just witness. I don't care to put money on this. So, sorry guys, if you guys were expecting a bigger take on this. Their hard court records indoors are astoundingly different. Michael definitely plays better. He's 6-2 this season, went 12-4 last season, 17-9 the season before. Elias went 8-7, 7-10, 5-4. So doesn't play as much, but he doesn't play terribly. Except for actually, he doesn't play as good as his brother. So maybe you can take Michael because it just looks good on paper, and also he needs the win, and his brother would be the one person that would give it to him because he's consistently playing as well. So I know that's not like a super analytical take, but some things aren't all about the stats. So remember that. Last but not least, we have Matteo Berrettini going against Giulio Zeppieri. And this is going to be their first head-to-head. And, man, Berrettini has been on that where the fuck are you at form-wise, my brethren. Hopefully he finds it. He's 0-1 on the indoor hard courts this season so far because of Rotterdam against Talon Griekspoor, who we thought was a demon on indoor hard courts and was going to come back and do us some good, but that's why I didn't bet on him in the first round. That's why I didn't bet on him. Then we took I'm sorry, we take shit. Berrettini is 10-1, going 14-14 this season. This Zeppieri guy is 38-23 this season, going 17-10 on the regular hard and 5-1 on the indoor. He beat Zaraj and Sacco in straight sets. I think that he can probably get a set off Berrettini, bro. Call me crazy. Just call me crazy. I think he can do it. That's what I think. But those are my 2 cents, guys. I won't keep you guys here too much longer. Wanted to be a little bit quick for you guys, get it all done for you. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget to join the Discord. And have a good rest of your Monday. All right? Take care. Peace. Love you all.